I'm a lover of movies. That being said, one of the coolest things I think there are film locations. Now, Pittsburgh has tons of different film locations, but one like main movie that people think about is Silence of the Lambs. It was filmed right in Pittsburgh and outside of the city. Well, here I am at Buffalo Bill's house from the Silence of the Lambs, and we are going to take a tour and talk with Chris Rowan about the house. Now, he has a tour that is based off of the whole movie. I'm Ellen from Pittsburgh Hills, and we're going to take a tour of Buffalo Bill's house from the Silence of the Lambs film right here in Perryopolis, Pennsylvania. Come on. So I am so excited that my friend Chris Rowan, my new friend, invited us to come and tour Buffalo Bill's house from the Silence of the Lambs, of which you own now.
I do.
And this house is very familiar to people who have seen the film. At the end of the film, it's very quintessential in the film.
Absolutely.
So can you tell me, like, how is it doing these tours and having like a vacation rental site with the theme of the Silence of the Lambs? Tell us about your whole business.
It's
incredible.
Thank
sounding.
you, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, as a big passionate movie fan, first and foremost, I've loved movies and cinema since I was a kid. Specifically spooky movies and horror movies and stuff like that, and Silence definitely falls in that category just a little bit. But I do work professionally in the film industry and have for about 20 years as an art director and a prop stylist. Basically, it's the art department. We handle the aesthetic needs of film shoots, things like handle props, paint walls, make sure everything looks good. Maybe it's rubber weapons or old movie cars, whatever it may be. But our job is to make things look good before we go to shoot. And when I had read that Buffalo Bill's house, the Silence of the Lambs house from filming was going up on the market, I just really had this kind of light bulb, wild idea moment sitting home. And, my professional background in filmmaking and my personal interest in spooky movies led me to decide to give it a go and open up a vacation rental where people could come and tour and physically stay overnight in a famous movie house.
Well, that's the cool thing, and we just did the tour, which I really loved because
Thank you.
you can see like what happened in the movie, and then now what it looks like. Some things changes, but then you can see an aura of the past,
Yes.
which is really cool.
Absolutely.
And also, you have these wonderful interactive moments on tour where you can play the roles.
Yes. So I think what sets Buffalo Bill's house apart, not only for our overnight guests, but for our tour guests, there are many tours you can go and experience in varying capacities, but I feel it's best to actually place people inside the action that they remember on screen. That's why they're here in the first place to begin with. So allowing people to recreate these iconic scenes via sequences that Jodie Foster played as Clarice Starling or Ted Levine played as Buffalo Bill, it really creates this immersive experience where you're not only physically present in the space itself, but now you're in the place where these characters that you remember so fondly from your movie watching and get to recreate the scenes yourself. As a big movie fan who's very passionate about cinema, being able to put people and other fans in those situations by proxy of these immersive experiences, I think really gives them a whole new appreciation for the film when they're done with their stay or their tour.
Now, this is like far away from Pittsburgh, where maybe they used as a hub, but a lot of the different places they filmed like outside. How did they pick this 1910 house?
Yes, built in 1910. It's been 114 years since the foundation was laid here at Buffalo Bill's house. But director Jonathan Demme had been location scouting and looking for off the beaten homes. And we're here in Perryopolis, PA, which is in Fayette County, about 30 miles south of the city. And his personal interest in trains had a lot to do with it, as there is a train nearby, railroad nearby. And you know, it was the layout of the home that ultimately sold him on choosing this home. You know, he envisioned the home in a place where Bill could lure Clarice into his basement workshop, and this home fit the bill. So it's certainly cool to know that such iconic film history was shot here.
Yeah, I can't believe like those really prolific actors were like standing in the same place and did those movements and everything.
Yeah.
And on the tour, you were very like in depth of talking about like how they like put the house together and renovated it in the way that the director wanted it,
Yes.
which is very cool to hear.
It's fascinating because a lot of people, you know, granted it is my profession, so to me it's just day-to-day life, but a lot of people just don't have the knowledge of how real filmmaking takes place or what goes into it. Maybe you're not focusing in on the setting of the sequence itself. You're just looking at the actors, but there are entire teams and departments of people, myself included, who, you know, then go in and change it around and make it look a little bit more realistic to whatever that director's vision is, and that's our job, to give the actors a believable platform to continue to tell the story.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Now, I know that there's certain pieces that you have displayed in the tour that are some original things from the movie.
Yes, we were very fortunate to be gifted some original items that the original homeowner, who lived here during the course of filming, had held on to for over 30 years. And they were very supportive of what my goals were here at the house, and to share it as the Silence of the Lambs house, essentially. And they gifted us a number of screen use pieces of wallpaper, blueprint schematics of conceptually what the home was to be look like before filming took place. Call sheets from back from 1990 when they shot their sequences here with Jodie Foster and Ted Levine. Just fascinating. As someone who lives and breathes cinema to a large extent, I like to kind of pull the curtain back a little bit and then share it with my overnight guests and my guided tour guests. See some of these things with your own eyes, and then of course, you know, you can watch it on screen, watch the movie while you stay here and make the comparisons for yourself. So it's pretty cool.
So, how many guided tours do you have during the year?
We only tour about 5 or 6 weekends per year. We actually only exclusively tour between the months of May and October. We start Mother's Day weekend, we do Father's Day weekend, July 4th weekend, and then we do the official start of spooky season. So we're touring mid-September, and of course Halloween weekend is our biggest tour weekend of the year.
I could guess
Yeah,
so.
and then the rest of the year we're open, you know, as a vacation rental in the style of an Airbnb. We routinely rent the home out for up to 8 guests at once. It's a totally private experience. We don't double book parties, and you don't share the home with other groups outside of yours.
Wow.
We want to focus on providing a private immersive experience, and we feel that, you know, what we're trying to do here is best done with your close friends and loved ones, you know. So we wanted it to be one group at a time so they can really immerse themselves in the experience we're trying to provide.
So, did you ever picture yourself doing something like this?
That's a great question. And people who know me well, once I told them, like friends, close friends, and even family, when I told them what I was doing with Buffalo Bill's house, they were surprised but not shocked, because they're like, well, that tracks for Chris, you know, a lifelong movie fan, works in the film business, loves spooky stuff. They saw the correlations, but did I personally see myself owning a famous movie house? Absolutely was not part of the, I guess, the big picture master card, you know, master image there. But I'm very grateful for the opportunity. When I read years ago, about approaching 3 years, we opened September 2021. So we're approaching our 3-year anniversary. I had read that this house was on the market. I had that light bulb moment, and I decided I wanted to open my own business. And being a passionate fan of cinema, it seemed the best way to combine my professional and personal interests. You know, and I'm very grateful that in the time that we've been open, we've had guests from about 35 states, 8 international countries, and we've even had many celebrities visit, including Brooke Smith from The Silence of the Lambs.
I was just gonna say that. That's incredible.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She came to one of our guided tour experiences, met the fans, signed autographs,
That's
and even
great.
got in the well in the basement
And she played along.
and posed for photos
Yeah.
as her character. So the well's really a kind of a showcase piece for the house. We're talking about those interactive experiences before. And, you know, the real well from the movie was a soundstage. It was never actually filmed in this home and never existed. But I had this idea to recreate it for authenticity of the experience and the movie itself. So we actually partnered with local Pittsburgh resident and well-known special effects artist, Tom Savini, who has done a number of very popular horror films over the last few decades. And him and his school at the Douglas Education Center actually put the well together for us and installed it in our basement.
Well, that was a really fun time getting into that well, let me tell you.
Yes. It puts the lotion on the skin.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
So what do you look forward to doing with this property more? Are you gonna like do any more events or anything film related?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things I want to do to the property. You know, one of the things I'd really like to do is we have a caboose on the property that came with inclusion of the sale of the home. I'd like to renovate that and make it its own little Airbnb experience, make it unique. But in the capacity of special events, I definitely want to continue doing celebrity engagements. Brooke Smith was our first one in the fall of 2023, and it was a big hit for us, and the fans loved it, and she had a great experience. She hadn't been back in 32 years since she filmed her scenes here. And you know, we've had some horror film celebrities come and visit us, which we appreciate, in the support of this community. It's very tight knit, and we certainly want to engage in more of that as time permits, and hopefully make an announcement soon on the next one.
Okay.
But we have had actors such as Kane Hodder visit, famous for playing Jason from Friday the 13th. We've had Doug Bradley visit us, who's Pinhead from the Hellraiser movies, Daniel Roebuck, and a host of others. So we're very appreciative that the celebrity community, who can help us get our message out a little further, has taken so kindly to our concept and what we're trying to do.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
It was so incredible. I love seeing the film scenes and then looking at it now and just...
It's a great juxtaposition to be able to look at the movie then, now, what has changed, what has stayed the same, and let people walk away with their own experience in their own timeline. I think that's super important to do it that way. Yep. And I will say this, if you're interested in more info at Buffalo Bill's House, check us out at buffalobillshouse.com. We also follow us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at Buffalo Bill's House, Buff Bill's House on Twitter and TikTok. And be sure to check us out, or else you'll get the hose again.